Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to yet another episode of the CxO show with Anza Saqib. Um, Again, beautiful sunny day here in Islamabad. Um, Very important that you all stay hydrated now that the weather is changing. I've started having some more um, apple juice, fresh apple juice to stay focused during work. Believe me, takes up the productivity. Also, ladies and gentlemen, this is the CxO TV. CxO Global Forum is a knowledge sharing platform for all C levels across the globe. Now, we take massive pride in contributing to the knowledge economy with our League of Extraordinary Thought Leaders. They're not just the domain experts, but those key individuals that have shaped policies in the fields that they're working in. They're making the recommendations. They are the movers and shakers. Today, as well, we've got an extraordinary gentleman joining us all the way from KSA. His name is Mr. Irfan. He's a member of ours, and he is the head of IT at LSC Logistics. How are you, sir?
Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for
Walaikum
having me
salam.
in this CXO forum.
Thank
I'm doing
you.
good.
Mr. Irfan, so let's cut to the chase. So you are, I believe, a Pakistani expat living in KSA. Where did this professional journey begin, and how did you end up, working as the head, in a leadership role in the
Okay.
firm?
Mm, as far as I go, I mean, down into my back in the childhood, I think from very early in my childhood, I do have the curiosity to look into how things were working. Any toy my family used to bring, I just need in a day or two it would be open, and I'll be looking into what is going on inside. So maybe that what be in my DNA from day one when I was growing up. So early in I think 1993 computer education was formally introduced in Pakistan, and I opted it. So the passion towards computer started from till 1993. I landed up in my professional career in 2005 in a textile company in Pakistan in a group of companies. So from there, this journey started. It's not an easy journey, of course. There has been ups and downs, and there had been stages, but eventually, it's an exciting journey. The whole career has been now comprised of 18 years of experience with
Wow. Mashallah.
more than a decade with the logistics industry, both working local in Pakistan as well as multinationals across the kingdom as well. So this whole journey started off as a normal IT support or technical resource, but gradually I started to climb the ladder with my passion towards the technology and understanding and adopting on the new environments that I was being part of. So I started in logistics industry in 2005. That was one of my major breakthrough for me, where I started to learn about how the not just the technical part, but how does the business go. So this is one of the
Yeah.
key element for me while climbing this ladder. That not just the technical elements that you need to understand being a technology guy. You in order to excel, you had to let go of these things which you've been doing for a long time and that you need to delegate, and you understand how the
Right.
business mechanism works, right? So that made me into the leadership position, and from there till for the last 8 to 10 years now, it's been like I've been leading different industry, different organization, and I
That's amazing.
do had a yeah.
Right. So, sir, this is all music to my ears because I've also been working in AI and logistics for a Nasdaq listed company that sort of. So I realize the importance of all businesses that power the physical economy, and then on providing the technology behind that. So I would like to ask you this: what does your task on or your daily day to day work routine look like? Being the head of IT of such a big logistics company.
Okay, see, this LSC Logistics is a Saudi homegrown business which has been more than 10 years, around 14 years in the market. And we are lucky enough to have a brand which does not have the Saudi touch in it. Generally, you'll see the companies will have their Saudi name in it, but
Yeah.
this brand has been all together with the name of LSC. So we've been known in the market for this thing. When I took the role, we initiated a digital transformation journey. We were running some
Mm.
legacy system. We wanted to excel. We wanted to go into different segmentations as well. At that point, I was working for them from Pakistan as a consultant, and eventually, while working for them as a consultant, they decided, okay, it's a time that we need you to be in on the I mean, on the as a part of our team. So we initiated this digital transformation. It's a full 5-year landscape that we given to the organization. It's going to be touching all three pillars of digital transformation, which generally is the digital front end, digital core, and digital enabler. So we are working on a complete 360 change in the organization. So my day-to-day role mostly comprises on the 60. Let's say the 60% is working towards the solutions that we are working on, so making sure that they are going along with the vision, and the rest of the things are regarding the business development, working on the different verticals, and ensuring that the business has the right technology to excel both vertically and horizontally. So that is how my day-to-day routine goes with the company.
Right. Sir, you've had a massive experience working in digital transformation, not just here, but also abroad. And, nothing like working for the kingdom, because, there's so much more innovation that is happening there. But if I were to ask you, in the context of South Asia, we've seen that not just big conglomerates, but also SMEs and startups have had to quickly, post COVID, move towards digital transformation. So, very short, 3 pointers. What do companies like SMEs, startups need to keep in mind? The 3 focus areas when opting for digital transformation and an effective journey of it.
See, generally, it needs to be, I mean, taken into consideration that it's not going to be an IT project at all. So don't consider it as an IT project. So the IT people will not be doing. Yes, they are executor, they're part of it. So it's an overall organizational level change. So never understand or take it as an IT project. This is one thing, because then everything will be on an IT, and the business engagement would not be there. Ultimately, we might lose our final aim. Secondly, when opting for a digital transformation, especially post COVID, and realizing that the IT is not just the technology wing, they are digital, or they are the business enabler as well. So there are different pillars of digital transformation, which, as I spoken earlier, there are three core pillars in the framework that we lay down or jot down in any organization, which is your digital core, your digital front end, or digital enabler. There are three different areas.
Right.
Normally, companies only focus on the digital core, which is your back office operation, your core business application. That's it, where they just look into it.
Yeah.
You need to ensure that all three layers, like your digital front end, which is your layer in front of your customer, that journey, your user experience has to be digitized, and that needs to be cope up accordingly with the thing. And the most important part is the digital core or digital enabler, which is your IT, your infrastructure, your security. All these elements needs to be touched down as a part of your digital transformation journey. Otherwise, if you lose or you left any one of the pillar, you won't have the sustainable growth over there.
Sir, brilliantly summed up. And I will say this to you: I interview 100 people, a lot of IT professionals, but no one has given us such a different perspective. So, hats off to you. But building up on this particular question, you are, mashallah, sitting all the way in KSA, and a lot of the startups there as well have had, gone through their seed A, seed B round of funding. However, in Pakistan, one of the biggest concerns is that, especially for those entering the IT space and opting for digital solutions, it's very expensive to deploy solutions that are like, whether you talk about cloud-based solutions, whether you talk about security, for MIS systems, etc. And because we've got a few international players in the market, and they are obviously like the best solutions that are out there. And one of the biggest concerns is that starting off, I have heard a lot of female entrepreneurs say that as well. We don't have the kind of capital that is required to invest in IT. Are there any indigenous solutions? What do we need to do? How do we sort of encourage uh, a more cost effective solution within Pakistan?
See, any startup needs to ensure that they have a mix of team with them. So it's not about, for example, if I'm being an IT, I have an idea, or let's say I'm trying to replicate, because most of the things right now is a replica. We hardly see out of 100, 1% are in actual disruptive technology
Yeah,
initiatives. Those are, let's say, it's working in states, it's working in XYZ, and it's not working in somewhere else. So they try to replicate the same thing. Even in that case, being an IT guy, you need to have on board the right skills of set in your, let's say, the co-founders, or at your early stage, those who can look into the financials, those who can link those who have the expertise of risk and mitigation, right?
yeah,
So the right mix of team is something that you need to start off, right? And then, of course, with those people on board, it's going to be a mix of thought, it's going to be a discussion, and then you'll be able to lay down the financial model in a more appropriate way, which will be more realistic. At times we have seen the many players, they have got massive excellent platform, they've got excellent tool, everything, but where the lack was the actual business model. For example, if you're for example, if you're replicating hyper deliveries, or let's say if you're replicating this Kiryana store, for example. So
yeah.
even we know that at times when they are having discounts, there are limitations on number of purchases that you can do, and we have
Absolutely.
seen that one of the biggest startup in Pakistan failed to replicate that model and understand that
Yeah.
this is a core basic business understanding, that they need to make sure that these things does not fall. So we need to ensure that at the end of the day, the capital and everything would be, I mean, your funding would be there, people are here to fund you. If we have our fingers, or let's say our hand on the pulse of the business, we won't lack around at any point in time. And being an IT or the technology company, if we say it's only one of the product that we're working on, will never work. Generally nowadays, this is one thing for any IT guy to have, like, I can have a product like this, it will do a disruption. No, now are the
Yeah.
days
And
where you
there-
need to
sorry
work.
to cut you off, but there is
Yeah,
also a lot of, especially for the tech startups, I think there is also that element of pride where they feel like, oh, I've built the best technology, I've built the best solution. I really don't even need more people in the team. And especially we've seen this post the chat GPT-3 era. We did a show on it yesterday. For those who haven't
yes.
gone and seen, please watch the panel discussion from yesterday. Power packed, knowledge packed. So, sir, coming back to the question now, in this post-Chat GPT-3 Web 3.0 era, we also see that a lot of the IT professionals have this built this narrative that now we need less men, more machines, or more AI capabilities. What is your take on that?
uh, this AI will be helping us in a way. For me, I mean, it can help me in the productivity. So let's say if I have a team of uh, for example, I've got 10 members who are working on something, and while having an AI will automate my processes, that does not mean I'm going to be laying off these guys. So they'll be working from my perspective, they might be add into some of another division, they could be more productive, they could come into another area of R&D where they can help us building the product itself. So having less number of resources means, you in this era when you're planning your business, you did not take it into the consideration that I'll be automating. So when you're laying down the business canvas, you should know that this is not 1 year, 2 year, it's a 5 year or 10 year based upon the journey that you. So you need to consider all the future or the current technologies to be there. So the model will be clearly showing you by when I'll be needing such, I mean, n number of resources. So to me, it's something that we need to keep on considering, because the technology will be evolving all the way when we are going into. something which we have right now. Chat GPT is one of the thing. You never know down the line what is coming, right? As we see yesterday with the Google thing, what happened,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
so
Or is it?
yeah, yeah. So that is one thing. The model has to be scalable, adaptable. Whatever business canvas you're working on, the model has to be ensured. I mean, such kind of things you need to have the provision of it. The more we consider them, the more chances we won't be falling behind any of the planning, or will not end up having laying off or something like this in future.
Right. And so just to build up on that as well, it's also, I would like to ask you, um, with regards to the young professionals of today, or let's say the, final year graduates who are studying in, like, let's say the NUST or the NUSTs, or, in all these IT uh, universities studying IT. What do you think are some of the skills that can make them future ready? Because now, like if I talk about 5 years ago, yes, people were looking for developers in general, even companies abroad. But now it's so specific. They're like, okay, so we need a Salesforce developer. We need someone who can, look into specifics. So,
Hmm.
what would be your advice to them? Like, how can they upskill themselves? How can they make themselves future ready?
Okay. My perception is two things. Generally, what we've seen in my era was people were focusing on a product. For example, let's say one of a product is very well known in the market. The guys or the new kids, they'll just keep on following it. They don't look into the technology. For example, Python is one of a common, I mean, let's say development tool for the guys. So they will focus on it. They will not understand the core basic and the fundamentals of software engineering, or they'll be not be focusing on the technology itself, which is evolving. The product will have an end life, the technology will keep on evolving. So if you follow a technology, you won't be left behind. So better to follow a technology and build your whole career over it. Secondly, like the way things are evolving, data science is one of the things. So being an IT guy is one of the thing, but you need to have an understanding of the core operation of core businesses. So better to build your career in a way that you end up having both the mix of both worlds. So being a technology is one thing, and the core business. So in any organization, any industry you fall in, better to learn how the things are working. So whatever tools, technology would be available in the market, you'll be able to convert that, or you'll be able to implement it easily. So
Very pertinent
having
advice. Thank you for that.
yeah, yeah.
Let's move a little bit away from our technical knowledge. I can see that you and I are both very passionate about technology in the future, but let's talk a little bit about your personal journey as a professional. What is the best piece of advice that you have ever received? Something that you has stuck by you. It could be from a professional, or it could be from a colleague.
Yeah. See, while I was working in Junaid Jamshid as a group IT head, one of my mentor told me, while you are in a company, everything is working fine. That means you're doing a right job. But when you are away and things are working better, that means you have done a great job. So this is what I have kept in my mind whenever I join any organization. My whole motive is I train my successor from day one. So when I'm not around, he should be doing his work or my replacement in a better way. I never think of it as a threat for my career. I never think it as a way.
Well, you
So
know,
for me,
you have a very big heart, but this is something that has even shaken me up. Even it took me a couple of sort of register that in my mind. Am I really training my successor? I don't think so. But how can is does that mean you're not looking at a long term prospect in the company?
no, it because see, at times your successor might needs years of understanding. So it's not the technological skills that we build, because that is available in the world, right?
Yeah.
You Google it, you can check it from there. It's the soft skills that we develop as a leadership skills that we develop, and that takes time. So
I think we've lost Mr. Irfan there for a couple of seconds. Sir, are you back with us? Mr. Irfan? Ladies and gentlemen, some very, very pertinent advice by the gentleman. He was talking about how we need to, when we are at a particular job, we need to build our succession plan, something that is of utmost importance. Can the team here at CxO please reach out to Mr. Irfan, please? Mr. Irfan, can you hear us? Right. So, ladies and gentlemen, just going over a bit about what Mr. Irfan discussed, two, three things that are top of mind. He did speak about the fact that we need to focus not just on building the technology infrastructure, but also training the human capital. Because investment in the human capital is just as important. And in this era of digital transformation, we often forget how important it is to invest in our own workforce. And then for the workforce, the advice was that we should be focusing on the solution aspect of things and building our own succession, because yes, life is unpredictable, just like the internet at Mr. Irfan's end. So hopefully we should have him back in a couple of minutes. We were really looking forward to speaking with him. And even for the young professionals of today, maybe this is a good recap, was the fact that do not chase brand names. So let's not just become a Salesforce developer or an engineer for Slack, but let's focus on understanding the technology behind it. So our skills remain um, substantial, skills remain sustainable, and there's longevity to your career. So I have just gotten the message. Good news, Mr. Irfan will just be joining back. So looking forward to that, ladies and gentlemen. And need I remind you, if you have any comments and feedback for us, please reach out to us. Please reach out to the team. You can log on to www.cxoforum.global. If you have any questions, feedback, concerns, comments, please let us know. We appreciate the honest feedback and anything that can make us better. That would be great. Right. So, do we have Mr. Irfan back with us?
Yes, I'm back now.
Okay, lovely.
Apologies.
Well, back, sir. So, after I was just recapping all that you said. So, sir, a little bit about your personal life now. Let's talk about Mr. Irfan, the individual. Sir, what is that one thing about you that we cannot figure out by looking at your LinkedIn profile?
Uh, I'm passionate about, let's say, I love making food. So
Oh,
maybe the
that's
second profession, the second profession apart from IT would be chef. Maybe because from very early in my childhood, from 6, 7 years, I was like I could have started to cook things for myself. So my
that's a
family was very, very passionate about this.
so. What is the best dish that we would call Mr. Irfan's signature dish?
See, I've improvised a lot of breakfast, different kinds of eggs, omelets
Hmm.
from Mexican to different. So I do a lot of improvisation, and all my families, whenever they are around, especially in the morning, and they find me cooking breakfast, they will come and sit and they'll eat away all my breakfast.
That's amazing. Now, sir, this is for the audiences that are watching. A lot of times we get the comments that IT professionals are the most logical, dry professionals that are out there. So someone like Mr. Irfan, this should be your aim. So we at CXO are not just inculcating knowledge, but we are also breaking myths. So thank you so much, sir, for your time. It's
Thank
been
you,
an honor and a privilege.
thank you very much for having me, and looking forward for future. That's right.
Inshallah. Before I let
Inshallah.
you go, just very
Yeah.
briefly, I'd like to ask you, what do you think is the utility of forums like CXO Global?
It's a good knowledge sharing networking forum, and we all at this level needs to be part of it so that we can share our experiences around with our peers, other forum members, and those who are watching and following us. So at times these forums give you a good insight of how people have reached to certain level, and it could be a motivational for someone else as well. So these forums are really required at this stage.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for your
Thank
time.
you. Thank you. Bye-bye. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. Ladies and gentlemen, that'll be all for today. We hope to see you next time with another special guest.